Hello everyone. Brad Jennings here, the psychic scientist, the millennial dragon. There's the board. This channel exists as a method of therapy to process my pathological relationship with Quentin Tarantino. I am the reason that Quentin canceled his film, The Movie Critic, last April, and the two of us have been embroiled in what has now become a legendary psychic siege for going on 2 years now. This channel was created for me to talk about it, right? Because I see it was me reckoning with the reality that he's not interested in like practical reconciliation, right? That he lives up here, right, in this arrogant, rarefied world, right, where he doesn't have to talk to me like a practical person at all, right? That I opted out. I'm not going to go on and on about that, right? That he drew the line in the sand and said, this is what you have to do, right, to be recognized by me before I recognize you, right? And so when he stuck his nose up in my letter, when he turned his back on my letter, I said, no, we're good. We're good. Right? I don't care about anything else that you did. Right? I want you to look me in the eye and tell me what you want, like a man. Because these games that you play at, they got nothing to do with the movies. Right? And that's true now, just like it was true then. And so what I'll say, right, moving forward, is that we're now in this condition where it is so absolute, right? Our connection, right? Our every thought is filtered through the other's head. That's what's occurring, right? That it behooves him, right, to either reconcile with me, just like it behooves me to reconcile with him, or to murder me, just like it behooves me to murder him. Because our minds are diseased with the other's psyche. That's where we're at. And that's not to mention, right, the impact that it has on the people around us. Right? My mother helps me with these videos a lot of the time. Sometimes I'll have the camera right here. She's standing right out of frame right now. She's not standing. She's sitting right out of frame right now. She's reading. Right? That our relationship has never been more strained than it is now. And so much of that has to do with my relationship with Quentin, right? And so, you think it's a one-way street? Right? That could be true on the crudest level. Right? That could be true. Literally everyone around him could be going, ha 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 ha. This guy's a fucking loser. Look how cool you are while you torture him into insanity. Right? Good Lord willing, he'll blow his brains out. That's our Quentin, right? What a cool guy he is. However, I suspect it's much more like my relationships with my family, where everyone around him is telling him, you have to let this go. You have to... right, whatever it takes. Right? I don't know. Maybe his wife is a complete fucking degenerate, just like him. Maybe they raised their kids under some sick, demonic level. Right? My point is that these are the games that he plays with his actors. Right? He says, if someone wants to act in my movies, me, Quentin Tarantino, right, writer-director of Pulp Fiction, right, then what you have to do in order to, for me to pat you on the back and say, yeah, this is my guy, I got my arm around him, right, is that you have to submit your conscious awareness to me, that I might possess it. Right? It's a sick psychology. It's not rooted in love. It's not rooted in compassion. It's not rooted in giving. right? If anyone's been paying attention to any of the videos that I've sent from A to D, right, then they know that the principle that the intellectual abstraction that creates the world operates on is love, is giving. The sun has no concern for what it receives ever. It gives and gives and gives and gives and gives of itself, unconditionally, forever. Right? So, my point is that I chose my side. Right? And I'm going to start reading from my novel. I'm not going to go on and on. Right? But he drew that line in the sand when he stuck his nose up in my letter and he turned his back on my letter. And he said, no, this is like, I expect you to do this for me. Right? I expect you to bark like a dog without me actually saying anything to you. And again, like, right? Like, I'm trying to see the whole picture, right? Like, I'm trying to see, right? I'm trying to build the frame that holds the image, right? And in his mind, he saw me as some sort of protege. I answer to no master save God. There it is. There it is, Quentin. Kiss my ass. My mind is mine. So we're reading through the novel. We're talking about the nature of reality. There's so much that I can say right now. Right? Everything that I said at the Burbank International Film Festival and at Mayberry, it's all valid. 100%. You think these games you want to put them up on a pedestal? And I know you don't know. I betray no master. Allow me to initiate you. This is the man. It's the same man. Right? I don't want to hold you, right in my mind, right? I don't want to put you in some corner of my mind, but I can. I've been really grateful for the activity the channel has been getting of late. I really appreciate that. It seems like pretty steady, like I'm always getting a few subscribers. And I know that I've been going all the way out there, right, on some level. Right? If you prescribe to the philosophy that, psychiatry has the only true understanding, right? Then I'm completely insane. And you take your pills and, right? And I've been obligated by law to take some pills. But what I'm saying is that there is another understanding, right? That literature is a very wide tree. Its trunk resides from present to eternity, right? And you can, for all that you can say, oh no, the literature says this, Freud says this, right? But there's another branch of literature, right? It has to do with the mind. It has to do with the spirit, right? And so when you say, oh, life is not an accident, I don't believe that life is an accident, then that opens up a whole nother resonance, a whole nother branch. Academic science is all fine and dandy, right? And everyone that's on the Burbank International Film Festival board, right? Trey Anastasio, David Mamet, right? They can all believe Quentin's bullshit and say, oh no, gosh, how unfortunate he's lost his mind. Right? And as long as Quentin is being evil, right? As long as he is, right? Because I'm not evil. That's, right? These things that he's touching on, I don't know that I have the constitution to actually do them. You know? It's so ugly. I can't stress that enough. Right? But as long as they have him, right, paying people to watch me, right, to to see what I'm doing, right? And what I'm saying is that remote viewing on the highest levels, I know this because I've been given a window, right? The remote viewing on the absolute highest levels is a pure aperture that you're actually seeing what's occurring, right? Not kind of like, the imagination can do those things too, right? That's all true too, that if it's not a pure resonance, then maybe it's a magnetic effluvia, kind of like, oh, gosh, like maybe it's, gosh, you know? But if you're actually seeing it, then you're actually seeing it in your mind's eye, right? So, right, I meditated on the vector equilibrium for years, right? I meditated on geometry for years. Said, oh no, I can conjure these things in my mind, in my mind's eye. So that now when I say, oh, gosh, I'm looking for Quentin Tarantino. In those rare moments of pure synergy, right, where everything is, right, that I can see him right there. In the geometric center of the mind's eye, right, the pineal gland, right? Right? And he can do the same thing to me. Right? He's been doing it a long time, right? He doesn't think it's sick, right? Like he gets something out of this.